Good morning. Today is Wednesday, December the 2nd of 2020. This is a regular meeting of Commissioners Court of Grimes County, Texas. The meeting is being held this day at this time, which is 9 a.m. Our location is the Grimes County Annex Building at 114 West Buffington Avenue in Anderson, Texas. I would ask if you would please rise for the invocation. Remain standing for the pledges to the U.S. and to the Texas flag. Shall we pray? Father, I thank you for this day and for the blessings of this life. Father, I'd ask that you would be with this court as we make decisions that affect the citizens of this county. We thank you for the opportunity to serve, dear God. We would pray that we always do it with a helpful heart and being mindful of the decisions that we make, how it affects the people who carry on their day-to-day lives in this Grimes County. Father, for those that are suffering with the COVID illness, we ask, dear God, that you be with them. Help them to recover. Let them regain their strength and be back in their productive ways. For those that may have lost loved ones, dear God, we ask that you be with them. Let them be joyful in the memories of those that they've lost. Father, just give them peace day to day. Father, we're grateful for the rain in our county to help hydrate again. We know it's something that we need as a rural community to help our farmers and our ranchers and just the citizens in their day-to-day living. Be with us through this holiday season and keep us mindful of what this time of year brings. And it's in your Son's precious name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Would you be seated, please? I don't have any sheets for public comments from any citizens that may have wanted to speak this morning. Commissioners, any comments from any of you?
I do have
Commissioner Dobianski.
3 announcements. Today, Mid-South is holding their annual food drive for Brazos Valley Food Bank. Anderson Food Bank will be distributing food tomorrow. And on December the 13th at St. Mary's, we're holding a blood drive from 8 to 1 o'clock. And we'll be serving breakfast there that day.
Very good.
Thank you.
Any other? Okay. I am waiting for, I have an announcement. I'm waiting for confirmation from Mr. Lilly, and I saw that he walked in this morning. But he has made a request on behalf of the citizens of Grimes County to have additional COVID testing within Grimes County, and as soon as that's official, or been approved rather, did you? Sure, go ahead.
I can give you an update, Judge, Commissioners. Ponch Gonzalez, our district coordinator, is working diligently on this to set up or to obtain the testing that we've requested. Currently, what we're asking for is kind of aggressive. We're asking for 4 locations: Navasota, Vidas, Anderson, and Todd Mission.
Correct.
It will be walk-up testing like it has been up till now, not inside the building unless the weather is like today. Then they have to move inside temporarily, but it's just going to be in those locations so citizens are able to find them quicker and they can actually do it from their car or walk up. And like I said, I'm waiting for word from him on whether or not we've been approved for any or all of those sites.
Thank you, Mr.
I'll let you know as soon as I find out.
Okay.
Thank you.
And as soon as, if we do indeed get approval, we'll get that posted on the county website.
Yes, sir.
And you'll also make a notice through
Through my Facebook
Your
and also
Facebook.
through the local media. I'll let KBTX and
Right.
Minnesota Examiner and so on know.
Very good, thank you.
May I add a side note to that?
You may.
Also, for the next couple of days, there are several sites in Brazos County that are all drive-through. It's on the curativeWebsite.com. But I know they have it at Connecting Points in College Station on Harvey Road today, and it's drive-through from 8 to 4.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. With that, we will move on to consent agenda items number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, Number 3 is consider and take action to approve the treasurer's list of claims and bills. 4, consider and take action to approve payroll. 5, approve monthly report submitted by the county treasurer for October 2020 and authorize advertisement of affidavit of same in accordance with local government code 114.026. That's our page 3 of this agenda. And then agenda item number 6, consider and take action to approve budget amendments and/or line item transfers. I do have a request for the treasurer's office and the auditors. Since we are now in December, are we through paying 2020 bills?
Yes,
Okay, so anything that's paid from this point forward is then going to come out of our 2021 budget?
it should, yes.
Okay. And what I would like to do from the auditor's office, if you would, is to put together some type of a run or visual that we can see what monies were not expended in the 2020 budget,
Okay.
departments and line items, so that when I hate to start talking about the 2022 budget, but when that beast rolls around, I would like to do some comparative analysis of what people have asked for, what they didn't use, so that we can maybe be more in line with appropriate allocating our dollars. All right?
Yes.
And that doesn't need to be done this afternoon, but if and when the auditors and treasurer's office have time to coordinate that, I would appreciate it.
Okay.
With that, are there any other questions or comments regarding the consent agenda items and the treasurer's claims and so forth?
I don't have any, therefore I'd like to make the motion that we approve consent agenda items 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Second.
There is a motion before the court by Commissioner Walker, seconded by Commissioner Cox on a consent agenda items number 3, 4, 5, and 6. Is there any further discussion? In hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That's a 4-0 vote. Would the records note that Commissioner Mallett is not present? We'll get a timeout next Commissioners Court meeting. Although he might want that, so we'll just make him get here early. All right. Agenda item number 7, Grimes County Commissioner Precinct 2, David Dobianski. Consider and take action to amend lease agreement between Grimes County and the Grimes County Animal Resource. It's our attachment number 7. Commissioner, I'll let you take the lead on this.
Thank you, Judge. Previously, we approved the agreement that I put in in front of you this morning with the animal shelter. And because of COVID, we've not been able to do the fundraising that we wanted to do this year. And we are asking for a 1-year extension on the start of the building. And this is the amendment that you have in your packet this morning. Are there any questions?
Well, I noticed in the change of language, it says this agreement, the last item, it says, should construction of the shelter fail to begin by December 1, 2021, this agreement will be null and void and considered of no force and effect. Providing this COVID business lingers and you still don't get to do, then I guess you would bring it just before the court again next year. And
We haven't discussed that, but hopefully we will be
Okay.
able to. Kristen just walked in. If you have anything you want to say to the court.
Yeah, and I brought some stuff for you.
and she bought a free puppy for each of us.
Oh, you know what, you want one? You want one? I can already-
Thank you.
It is the giving season.
It's just a newsletter with like a little update about what we've been doing. But, yeah, we had full intentions and I think it was promising.
Can I get you a sec to the podium and then identify yourself, please?
My name is Kristen. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. We had full intentions and it was looking promising that we'd be able to start. Our fundraiser was postponed twice and now it's been moved to May 1st. So, we've made a lot of progress. We've done other fundraising, like by mail, stuff that people feel comfortable with right now. And, so we've received a $100,000 pledge in addition to what we had. So we're making progress. We're just need a little bit more before we really feel comfortable with starting a project like this.
Okay. Anything else you'd like us to know?
Now, unless you have any questions, yes, sir.
You know, they got a food drive going on in Bryan today. You know, if somebody gives a sack of food, you ought to give them a puppy or a kitten in return.
You know, I would love to do
I mean,
that.
if they're willing to give food, they've got to have a kind heart.
I would be willing to dress up in a red suit and deliver puppies. Of course, if people would take them, yeah, that would be great. Because the colder it gets, we are getting a lot of calls.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
If there are no further questions, I move that we approve the amended lease agreement between Grimes County and the Grimes County Animal Rescue.
Second.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 7 by Commissioner Dobianski, seconded by Commissioner Cox. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Foltz, how out of order would I be going back to public comments?
It's your meeting, Judge.
All right. I didn't have one public comment before I came over to court this morning, and I meant to make a note, but I received an email from one of my judicial colleagues, and it was a scam request asking for gift cards. And this is the second time I know that this judge has been scammed like that. So there is a sickness in the mind of some people who try to take advantage of elected officials and so forth and asking for donations and things of that sort. So I would just say, commissioners, be on the lookout, and citizens, that if you receive an email from Judge Joe Fouth requesting gift cards or financial donations or what have you, no, that is not a legitimate request, and I would ask that you notify our office that that is occurring. We can find these people, we will take legal action against them, but sadly, be aware. Okay.
Judge, one question on that. What was the judge's name that?
Dwayne Peters is the judge. I got supposedly an email from him, and he's our neighbor to the north up in Brazos County. And I know this is the second time that he's been hit in that respect. I also, over Thanksgiving, had first time I had a text from supposedly our Judge Ryder up in Leon County, and they were asking for gift cards, and that's the first time that I called him and told him he'd been hacked. So but we just need to be aware, we need to be on alert. People are going to take advantage of the season and folks' generosity and desire to give, but just make sure it's a legitimate give before you do. All right.
Thank you.
Back on course. Agenda item number 8, Grimes County Building Maintenance Manager, Mr. Al Peeler.
You said high energy, that's what you wanted? I got you. Got you all. Good morning, commissioners and judges.
Where's Deputy Cook when you need him?
Probably sitting over there. You wanted high energy, you got it, baby. Now, let's get back to business.
All right.
Judge, we need to check on his vacation schedule.
And his blood test.
All right.
Go ahead, Al.
Got your blood flowing, didn't I? So we'll start with the courthouse. We are just so close. We have some door issues that we're trying to get figured out. By the end of this week, hopefully early next week, we will be through with it. The engineer come through, and of course she's doing the best she can for us. We are going to save some money with her, which will be around $16,000-$17,000 that we're going to say that she's going to pass the savings on to us. She's not going to bill us for that, which that's great. Not leaving the courthouse just quickly. Know that we have the ceremonial lighting this evening. If it continues this, we have the Navasota Choir that will be with us tonight. We are going to move them into the courtroom if the weather continues. We hope it doesn't, but if it does, we're still planning on to move forward, and we're going to do it inside so that everybody can see the courthouse and then light everything.
What time?
It is
5:30.
Yeah, 5:30. So we're GCHC is kind of excited. Come get your sugar cookies and look at the courthouse. Moving on, we'll go to the jail. The jail seems when I hit a stride and get an attaboy, something else happens. We did pass, while I was on vacation, we did pass jail standards, which is a feat in my eyes.
And I believe it was the 20th or the 21st year in a row. I know it's at least the 20th year.
21st.
21st year, okay.
And I want to give recognition to one of my employees, the county's employees, Junior Covington. He led them, he took the lead, and he told them what we had in the plans, and they liked everything that we have in the plans coming up. That being said, right after that, we had our oldest HVAC unit on top of the building go out, shorted both compressors. They have replaced compressors on this one before, and there's no sense of doing it again. You're gonna pay half the cost to replace the compressors and get no warranty. So I knew we were gonna have one, I just was hoping it wasn't this soon. We have it, it's running right at $15,000 with the 10-year warranty. So,
You had that budgeted.
I did have that budgeted because I knew one of them was going, I just didn't know which, and it was the oldest one that went.
Remind me, when we get the new Justice Center up and running, isn't that chiller system then going to, it's not.
It's not big enough.
So the SO and all of that is still gonna be on their separate units, okay.
Yes, it would be my goal later in my tenure to get the SO on a chiller system. That's the best, most efficient way you can do that with a building that size.
That's probably with the jail renovation or remodel,
Yeah, it's gonna be on down the road,
okay,
okay?
thank you.
Mold remediation in the jail is still on standby because of COVID-19. Our control systems Friday, they're coming up to do some readjusting, and then we should be online. Work orders will be online next week. I'm gonna train all next week at the jail, getting them people on the work ticket system. So that's coming along. Justice Center, oh wait, is there any questions about the jail? Sorry. Justice Center, Justice Center's coming along fast. They are in their compression testing. They are done to the level they're at. We have 14 compression testing sites. When we are building the driveways, we are just about ready to lay iron and start pouring driveways. You have in front of you the PMP.
For the world about us, what does PMP stand for?
Hold on, project modification proposals.
Okay.
I was trying to find mine. You tried to stuff engineering.
No, I mean, it has it written here, but not everybody in the world out there is able to see what we're able to see.
So if you look down through there, I have not been very generous. I've not accepted, the change orders that I have accepted are necessary evils. I was aware of a change order that it will be coming to the court about a fiber optic line. I mentioned it in the meeting, running a solid conduit line on the new road from 90 to the Justice Center. But then after a meeting, we found out that we could run with high voltage. So that change order just become less, but we still, because of the GC will need to hire the electrical sub to pull the high fiber wire going to 90 for fiber optics, not high fiber. No, a technology type of guy. And then you will have the road change order when we get designed and all that. But design cost is still there for that. I mean, and we knew that, we already approved that. Any questions on the PMP or project modification proposals?
I do
Sir?
have some questions.
Okay,
We had our meeting yesterday, our bi-weekly meeting, and the issue of the fiber optic came up, and it was news to everybody. That, at least I got the impression it was news to everybody. Obviously, we're doing a conference call, so I couldn't see their face, but that's a pretty sizable change order to make accommodations for this fiber optic, and I'm not real sure if we don't need to have a little more in-depth discussion about that amongst the court before we do anything on that.
okay. I can, all right. Well, I can tell Michael Lloyd, our architect, before he starts designing anything, get me some numbers, and then I'll bring it back to, normally how I do it, Commissioner, is I get what we need, and then I bring it back to the court for a change order. But on this, there might be some design cost. I'm not for sure about that, but I will call Michael and say, hey, look, before you charge us for design costs, I need to have all costs together and bring it to the court. If that would satisfy you.
I think so. You can't have a detailed discussion about it today because you don't have the information yourself.
Yes, sir.
So we're talking about speculation. I'd rather have the information before we have that discussion, but
Okay.
certainly it's sizable enough that I believe that the court needs to be involved in making that decision.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And may I ask, what is the fiber optic for?
So from the meeting that I had yesterday with Matt Silcox, Judge Fouth, and Greg Cannon, our IT director, it is for future, so they want to come out of the Justice Center. And I was like, no, because we're already waterproofed. We've got our pad down, got our compression on and I was, no, we gotta reroute it because we're late to but Matt Silcox said it can run with high voltage. So they're gonna leave an end in the Justice Center electrical room. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm kind of like, I don't have everything. And then it's gonna run down the entrance from 90, and they're gonna stub it off there. And then it's for future plans that they're gonna run it to this annex and the courthouse to get rid of antennas. Is that correct, Judge?
That's correct.
So it's a future, I guess, is what I'd say.
Al, is that for internet service? Or phone service?
Yeah.
Fiber is your internet. You've already got the fiber ring that we're on now through the BB Cog. So what we would do then is, currently, this building and every other divided building is on a wireless transmission of your internet, so that's why you get spotty internet in here sometimes. That's why sometimes the Facebook video is in and out. So what that would do is solid line straight to this building and the courthouse and provide actual high-speed internet that we're paying for instead of wireless transmission, which has the frequencies sometimes get muddled.
So we're gonna tap into the BV-cog ring, is that what you're saying?
So the ring terminates in the sheriff's office, and from there, we can send it wherever we want to because we pay for it. So we would tap into our termination that we already pay for, and technically, we're still using BV-cog internet right now, but we're just using it wirelessly. So this would just be a solid line to give us full advantage of the speeds we pay for this building and the courthouse.
And we, Commissioner, we would pay no additional to BV-cog because we're already paying for the transmission from the ring to the endpoint in the SO.
Yep.
So I'm glad you guys know what you're talking about.
The only cost is getting it here.
And that's not figured in anybody's budget.
I can't speak to that. I wasn't in any of those conversations. I just know what the system does and what we're proposing to try and do.
Okay. I mean, it goes back to nobody has the details yet. I'd like to see those details before we make that final decision, because I think it's gonna be a sizable investment.
And Commissioner, it is to any amount, but it's going to be far less than what we originally thought, I think what the thoughts were yesterday morning, because when the consultant said, okay, since it's not electrical interference because they can use a plastic coating versus a metal coating, they can go ahead and pull it through the electrical contractor's conduit, and that being the case, it's a whole lot less expensive because we're not going to have to retrench, we're not going to have to relay conduit, etc. At the end of the day, if the ticket was too much, we said, no, we can't afford to do that now. We just have to hold off when we do the annex renovation in the courthouse. But the idea is we'll spend a little more now and save a whole lot later. But you're working on getting the numbers, and that's what we left the consultant with yesterday.
Right, I need to get, so I'll get the design number, and the design number and the GC electrical contractor, because it will be a change order. It will be a project modification.
Is Greg involved in this process?
The grade?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
But we've hired a consultant?
No. Matt Silcox is just, he's doing some freelance consulting. He's not charging us because he'd like to be one of the providers in this. So he has a vested interest. It's just that we're using his expertise.
And we've always used his expertise over at the jail, on the towers.
Yeah,
Correct.
He currently provides our wireless. I did want to point out one more thing that Vanessa did ask. Sorry. The phones, it does tie in the phones with the new phone system we've agreed to, or that we're working.
It's out to bid right now.
Okay, it is out for bid. We're proposing a voice over IP system which runs over internet too, so.
If he's looking to be one of the vendors of whatever service goes along with fiber optic, and he's also doing the consulting, is there any issue with that?
Not as far as I'm concerned.
Well, okay.
If you have some concerns, you can
I mean, I'd
certainly visit with our county attorney. But we're not paying him, there's no contract. We just brought him in to give us advice as to what we could do, because you brought up a valid question yesterday morning in the construction meeting, Commissioner. So on the basis of that, Al got a little bit nervous, and we threw the meeting together yesterday afternoon to see what our potential options were.
I don't like being a cat on a hot tin roof. Too big to be on a tin roof. I will get you your design cost from Michael Lloyd. I will get you your, how much the cost will be to pull the fiber optics through from the electrical room to the 90. I will get you all them costs, and then I will bring it to you. I will even bring you the scope of work if that's the commissioners want me to do. I will surely provide that. Just give me some direction.
Well, from where I sit, I mean, I'd like to know as much information as possible to take into consideration if in fact we're gonna make that change order, and it's gonna be a sizable change order, and it will affect the bottom line budget of the entire project.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I will do that. I will, once we get the scope of work and I can put a cost to it, then I'll bring it back before you and give you all the, and I'll get that to you as quick as I can, so it can be in
Agenda?
agenda, yeah. I mean, so they can see it prior to
Oh,
the
sure.
meeting.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
I hope to see all your faces tonight.
Christmas tree looks good.
What?
The Christmas tree looks good out there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
That's
you.
the city of Anderson. They have, we provided, the county provided the tree and the angel, and then we let the city of Anderson decorate it.
Thank you.
With the court's permission, I'm going to jump to agenda item number 11, discuss and take action on items related to the coronavirus relief fund. Mr. Trent or Ms. Murphy, do y'all have any comments that y'all want to make in regards to that?
No, there's been minimal changes. I believe the one change that we have is the fiber optic. We had an estimate of $110,000 last time. The actual invoice came in and it's $113,000. It's a $3,000 increase. But other than that, it's the same. We're still currently working on the timesheets for the law enforcement
Okay.
and preparing that narrative.
Are you comfortable that we'll meet or beat the December 15 deadline?
We will meet it, yes.
Okay.
You mentioned you were working on the timesheets, and I don't know if you got the same email that I got last week, but it was regarding the reimbursement for time, and it looks like maybe Polk County submitted their request from their timesheet and was told that they need to attach specific information with regard to
I did forward it.
what.
Commissioner Walker forwarded it to us and we are aware of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
So then on agenda item number 11, the update but no action. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. With that, then we'll go back to agenda item number 10. Discuss and take action to approve a temporary stipend for road and bridge foreman during a trial departmental reorganization. It is expected that the court will conduct a closed session as authorized by Texas Government Code 551.074 personnel matters. I would like all to leave the courtroom except for Ms. Murphy, if you would stay. Kalita Coleman, are you in the hallway?
Judge Quinn, we're here. Are we going to come back to number 9?
You skipped
Oh, did I skip none? I'm sorry. Thank you. All my jumping around. All right, we'll go to number 9. Agenda item number 9, consideration and possible action to authorize Road and Bridge to sell the old county maintenance barn property at Piedmont and Dallas and Navasota. Attachment number 9. I'm sorry, Commissioner, I didn't even ask you to take the lead on that one.
Okay.
So would you walk the court through that, please, sir?
I have not had the opportunity due to unforeseen circumstances with the road and bridge engineer to have a conversation with him specifically about this issue.
Bless you.
But the agenda item indicates possible action to sell the old county maintenance barn on Piedmont and Dallas.
Yes, sir.
And I can tell you what I know of it. I don't think that that we use it. I think one of the residents there along the property, or adjoining piece of property, probably uses it more than we do as a driveway. That being said, you know, I don't know if we would ever have any use for it in the future, but once you sell it, it's gone and we don't ever get it back. So I don't know how the court feels about that, but
Can we identify from this drawing, is it the 3956?
yes.
Does it include the 3957 or the 3958?
I don't know the answer to that. I think the property line is immediately behind that barn.
That is correct.
Okay. And I know we talked about this a few years back. Do you remember, Mr. Attorney, when we were gonna sell this property once before?
I think at that time, because there's a couple of mechanisms by which you can sell dirt, and one of them is to have a commissioner conduct a public auction. I think Commissioner Finke may have been appointed for that purpose. I don't know why the effort stalled out.
I do remember, you know, it coming up for discussion before with Commissioner Finke, and in the last, I don't know how many years ago, because of, you see the new concrete pad, the church had approached the county because they needed that for parking. And so it came up before about an auction of this particular property. In fact, they started to try to clean it out, and they decided the building, you know, was just to leave it alone at that particular time. So I just asked.
I think, Commissioner, and I could be mistaken, there was a discussion about the county doesn't have a statutory mechanism to give the building to another governmental or to a nonprofit.
Mhm.
But we do, I think, have a mechanism to give to another governmental entity.
Mhm.
And there was a discussion, and I think it's this tract, I know there was a discussion, but I'm pretty sure it was this tract, about the city may have some desire to utilize it for the Workforce Commission.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
such that the county may have been interested in giving it to the city, and the city, and it may have been a nonprofit related to the Workforce Commission. It may not have been the Workforce Commission
It was the
itself.
Workforce Commission.
Okay, so there was that discussion, but I'm not even sure it was brought to court, and if it was only once, I think, for a limited discussion, and I don't know why it didn't go anywhere.
And that's what, they got another building. They,
Okay. Well, that
NISD donated the Bazell building to the workforce,
That makes sense.
so they didn't end up using, I couldn't remember all the particulars, but I knew that this had come up more than one time, at least twice in my tenure, so. I don't know if we have an accurate survey. I did reach out to Mr. Walker, but I was able to talk to Patty, and one of the first things, I think as a county we would have to do is decide where the property line is, because, you know, we're looking at a drawing, but that's not necessarily what's on the ground. So I don't know where you're going with this, but
I'm open to doing anything. I mean, it's there for us to either utilize or not. And if we're not going to utilize it, it's just another maintenance issue.
Commissioner, can I ask, is this where the district clerk at one point had records stored? I recall that discussion by
Yes.
Ms. Wells years ago.
Well, I don't know the answer to that question exactly, but I do know many years ago when I was with probation, and this has been many years ago, there were some Christmas decorations stored in that metal barn out there that community service was requested to go pick up and bring to the courthouse. Where those went from that point on, I have no idea. They may still be back in that barn, but I doubt it.
Probably not of much value.
If they are, they are not probably, but it's a piece of property that is only utilized for the barn and maybe minimal storage issues.
Can I ask the question, what why the interest in selling it? Where did this come from? Anybody know?
It came from Mr. Walker because he had concerns about the dilapidation of the building and the possible liability, and it's just another maintenance issue that we've got to be aware of and take care of. So, not being used in the shape it was, he wanted us to get that liability behind us, put it on the tax rolls for somebody else to use.
Sure, and I understand that, and it's an absolute policy issue, and one of the county judges before you, Betty Shiflett, her position was you don't sell anything, right? I mean, that's, you got it, you may need it at some point, you never get rid of anything, but as you said, potentially could be something on the tax roll generating revenue, so it's entirely a policy issue. If and when, I think this is what Harry has done in the past, he's wanted to hear that the court's interested in pursuing it, and once you all give a thumbs up to it, then we'll track the statute and follow what needs to happen. So, yeah, obviously, it's just a policy issue for y'all to decide.
And I think in my conversation with Patty on yesterday I was trying to recall, I thought I heard an issue of maybe some old possible tanks. And she was gonna get with Sam and see what the discussion had been before, when we were talking about giving the building to the city.
Yeah, if that happened, I never heard anything about that, so I don't know anything about that.
Well, I think there's a lot of questions still outstanding on this, and I wouldn't be opposed to tabling this so we can get some concrete answers and then making a decision on that. And if the court would allow, I'd work with Commissioner Walker. She seems to be pretty knowledgeable, and it is right on the line.
I would ask that Commissioner Cox, since it is in your precinct, though, you take the lead on it, working with Commissioner Walker, talking with the road and bridge engineer, and then bring us a recommendation in the near future?
Yes, sir.
Great. So we'll take no actual action other than the discussion that we've had, that Commissioner Cox will take the lead on this. And just so you know, this judge is in favor of liquidating that property and getting it back on the tax roll.
I understand.
At least at this point.
Yes, sir.
You tell me there's a bucket of gold in there, I might change my opinion, but I don't think that's the case. All right, have I skipped anything thus far? All right, I'd like to go back to agenda item number 10, discuss and take action to approve a temporary stipend for road and bridge foreman during a trial departmental reorganization. It is expected that the court will conduct a closed session as authorized by Texas Government Code 551.074, personnel matters. So those that are not, we have them said that they would like the burn ban lifted and allow the citizens to go back to burning.
Yes, sir. I've heard from all but one chief, and they all have unanimously said they support having the burn ban lifted. It's property owners do have burn piles they need to get rid of, and the weather has been favorable to
Fair enough.
making it less of a risk.
I'll make a motion that we as Grimes County lift the burn ban effective today.
Second.
I'm gonna go ladies first on that one, Commissioner Dobianski.
Okay.
On agenda item number 12, there's a motion by County Judge Joe Fowle, seconded by Commissioner Walker. Lift the burn ban. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any updates, Commissioners, on the strategic plan?
Meeting today. I'll talk to you about it.
Okay. Hearing none? No action on agenda item number 13. Takes us up item number 14. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion before the court by Commissioner Dobianski, seconded by Commissioner Walker. Is there further discussion? And hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.